Hey,
What's up, everybody?
welcome back to the pod.
Cast. How's it going? I'm Ethan with Fight Me on this.
I'm Jill. I coach Jill. April.
Holy shit. We're back.
Another one.
Another one. We don't have sound effects yet. We'll get there. We need a team. I don't have the time.
We need a team.
Goddamn. How have you guys been? How's it going? Welcome back. As we've said, it's always an honor to have you guys. It's an honor to be here. What's up, Buff?
Nothing.
We're just going to get right into it.
Oh, yeah, we gotta do our.
What episode is this? Hold on.
Hold
Let
on,
me do
take
math
your
real
tippy
quick.
tap somewhere else.
Go lay down.
Ah!
Let me see. Let's do math.
15.
Next week. No. Because next week is what day? What day is it tomorrow? Is it today the 12th?
We're getting close to Christmas.
My watch is off for some reason. How it is it?
Oh yeah, this will be Christmas. Yes.
That's what I mean. I'm trying to think. This one will be Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We're going to launch an episode on Christmas.
Our gift to you.
Oh, no. It'll be Boxing Day.
Well, our gift to you to detox from having to spend time with family.
Yeah.
We got
Yay.
you. If you need to lock yourself in a room and listen to the podcast, we're glad you're hanging out with us.
How's it going? How are you doing? It's going to be weird to talk about Christmas in pre-past time travel. There's going to be lots in my brain. But how are you guys doing? Did you survive the season? Is it over for you? How many dinners out of how many dinners are you at?
Did you kill anyone?
Did you try?
Did you yell at your racist uncle? That's my go-to at family dinner.
I still don't get invited. Yeah, holy shit. It's Christmas. It's the season that is fun. It's fun. We're okay. We're good.
Okay.
Well, we might as well get into it. 'Tis the season for hards and joys. Would you like to go first? Because I can go.
Okay.
My
go
hard
ahead.
is
Oh, just speedy today. Just got it going. Go ahead.
Well, I thought while I was talking
Okay.
before, because I was like, oh, I don't have one. And then my brain was like, oh, that was tough. I've had a couple of weird mood swings the last 2 weeks. Yep, we'll go with that. Just in being okay to not just not being okay, but being really in it. The last one, Jill made a new recipe, a chicken pot pie thing. Go peep her TikTok for that shit. Delicious, so good. Can't wait to eat it again. And it called for biscuits. I decided to make dumplings. For those of you that don't know, I learned how to make that kind of food, Jamaican Caribbean food, because my abuser taught me how to do it, which is fine. There's lots of things that I can separate, and apparently, however I made them this time, the moment they hit the water, I knew something was up. I knew that I had nailed the recipe. I knew that it was the way Dad used to make it. And like I was fine for a bit because they were just in boiling water. I hadn't eaten one yet. But the moment that I tried one, the human brain is fascinating. Trauma's wild. CPTSD, the whole thing. I say that a lot without giving much context, but like you've seen Hollywood movies, and it's kind of like the moment where they slow something down, and like I bit that thing, and there's a very familiar mouthfeel in dumplings. For those of you that have been to any of our Christmases back then when we used to throw them with our 60, 100 person fucking come through, eat all you can, try not to die. And, those ones, like, we used to make 200 dumplings in a sitting because they'd be the thing that would go. And there's a very distinct mouthfeel when you bite into one and get through it. And that with the flavor, and it was like it slowed down. And the moment my teeth touched together through the dumpling, I was in a different house. I was no longer 34 years old. But I'm still standing in a kitchen. we talk a lot in this life. Uh, Survivors do. We try to get people to understand the grief that we go through all the time. It's not necessarily like depression. It's not just about that thing. It's grief. Uh, Not because I was harmed. Like, yeah, I grieve that all the time, sure. But I grieve being able to eat food without having to go through this. I grieve something that people, lots of you listening, are going to sit here and go, "What do you mean? Like when you eat food, you just get to eat food?" But as Jill and I navigate life, as she navigates hunting for landmines with me and trauma and triggers, I navigate them through my senses every day. Uh, and it's not that it's hard to go back. Like, it is. I don't need they come with memories, feelings, sight, sounds, tastes, recordings. Like you're just there. Like, you're not even a fly on the wall. No. I'm 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm in my body. I'm watching it happen again. I am there. Like, that's hard enough. But the fight to get back to here it hurts. Uh, it's easier to stay there. It's harder to come back. It's painful because if I don't, then I won't eat. Then that meal's gone from me. If I don't fight in that moment to win that battle right there. Um, and still, like, Jill warmed some up yesterday, and immediately I felt my whole body get tense. Much faster that time because I went down and had some after she left. And it's still fucking delicious. But I was only able to do that because I fought there in the moment while we were making it to be okay. Jill helped. She had to support it. It happened really fast. Yeah, so that is always hard. It is exhausting. Um, I feel the effects of it days later. It makes more sense now in my head as I'm saying this to you. I didn't sleep last night. Why I woke up in like a pool of sweat and cold sweat. And my body has to go through it. Like, all of this shit is stored in the body. And it fucking sucks. And it hurts to heal. But here I be.
Yeah, it's always interesting to watch it unfold because it was a moment of joy of like, I did the thing, and then it was no longer joy.
Yeah. I don't remember a ton of it. I don't really remember reacting to it. I remember like being trying to lean into the excitement that I created the thing. Like, I remember being excited.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry guys. It's like, it's why I think I have a fear of bridges. Random fact about Ethan. I don't really care for them. I have a hard time walking across them. Um, because this is what it's like. It's like walking across a bridge and you're like, it's fine. Everything's fucking fine. And the same bridge that was fine, everybody else is walking across that bridge. Everybody in this house has eaten that food. And the joy and everything about it was, I remember it going like you watch a storm roll in like hyperspeed. And it was like I was going back. It was like in my brain in that moment, it was like I was regressing in years as it got darker. And then I was just in it. I don't always remember it a lot when I'm trying to navigate it. Um, I know Jill's there. Uh, I only know Jill's there because she does a very good job of reminding me that she is. Um, yeah, that will always be hard. Not just that it was this week, but just it's not talked about enough. It's not researched enough. It's not documented enough what it's like living with CPTSD. Like, This shit is wild in here.
Thank you for sharing, as always.
What about you, my love? Outside of navigating that shit.
Yeah, but that's never my heart.
I know, you say that all the time. For the record, I believe her most of the time.
What happened this
Where all my egg? Well, she thinks where all my eggnog lovers at? Because listen, like I love eggnog. Like I love. Oh my god, I love eggnog. But there's only one eggnog. For the record, I'm gonna start a fight. Fucking, I don't care. Do I ever? No, fight me on it. Do I go get it? No, I'm gonna describe it to you. Y'all know the one. It's eggnog. That's all it says. And then it's just a big ass burgundy 2 liter. That's the only eggnog. You can home make it.
It's Dairyland, I think.
I know you can make it. Do I care? No, I said what I said. The other stuff, literally every single other one is garbage.
I learned this week that I did the thing that I do and was out, and I said, oh my god, a thing somebody likes. So I was at Costco, and I said, oh my god, eggnog. Ethan likes eggnog. Because that's how I am as a human. If I'm existing in life and I see something that reminds me of you, I will buy it. Didn't know there was different kinds of eggnog. And
So
Ethan did the thing he does best and said nothing to me because I said, I bought you eggnog. And he went,
no, I was Thanksgiving. It's great. I love the eggnog.
Your usual. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I did the not fake. Like she's too like not me to not make it sound fake. Like I don't fake it. I was gonna figure it out. I'll never tell her that she missed because why? That's eggnog. She got it. Tism disagrees. The rest of me is happy about it.
I also don't drink eggnog, so like my brain was just like eggnog. Ethan likes eggnog. Buy eggnog for Ethan. And then I was watching a video, and somebody on TikTok was like, "I only like one kind of eggnog," and I literally looked up and went,
we were in some store, weren't we? We were in Costco.
I think we were here.
No, we were. This was that was later.
I look up. I'm like, "Do you only drink one kind of eggnog?" He's like, "Yeah." Cool. So it's fine. We baked with it. His daughters drank it.
So I brought it up because of what I'm drinking right now is an eggnog protein shake, which is fucking spectacular.
So he did in fact make it work, but it was just like, do you only drink one kind of eggnog? Yeah. I'm like, cool.
So like if you're that person and someone like gifts it or you're in the holidays, someone brings it over and you're like, fuck, what am I supposed to do? If you have a vanilla or cinnamon's going to be better for you on this one. And this is just the straight up recipe. It's 1 cup of that crap eggnog on ice, 2 scoops. And if you have artificial vanilla, like half a capful, just to like make up the difference of not so like holy shit heavy cinnamon, blend that shit, add water till it's like holy. Listen to me, it's a delicious. And now it's like 70 grams of protein. 65. There we go. Better math. My brain did math with the other milk. So like calories, and I'm fucking happy, and I don't have to waste it.
My heart is. I also learned this week. Did a little learning this week. Been busy in the spring. That I think it's a combo. How do I want to word it? Mm-hmm. My protectiveness over Ethan, and also if I'm jealous, makes me judgy. And like we have talked about, we answered a question with Brian, are you guys judgmental? And we said, yeah. But like that's like the productive.
That's a human side of it.
And also the like productive safety side of it. I learned this week that like when I am being protective over Ethan or something has made me jealous, my default is to just be judgy. And that might not sound like a big deal, but like it is a big deal, especially in this life, because mostly I don't want to be judgy, as fun as it is. Sometimes I don't want to be judgy to people that are involved in our life.
Yes.
Maybe just
Fun
strangers.
as it is sometimes.
It's different.
No,
To
I love
like,
you. That was just I love that you're just honest and upfront. Sometimes it's fun. You're right. Sometimes it's ha ha fun.
but like it's more fun. It's less fun when it is people involved in our life in some way. Um, so just like sitting with that, and it took me a couple of days, took me a couple times of it happening to be like, what's happening? And then I walked down the stairs and went to Ethan and I said, sorry, I've been a judgy bitch lately. And then unraveled why that has been happening.
Unraveled and then unraveled. That was a good time.
So as much as it was
But it was, sorry, that was not meant to be crass or be judgy of your emotions though. Like it was an unraveling of why, but it was also an unraveling of emotions because it is it's just tough growth and healing and being self-aware and doing the work on yourself is painful. It's a lot of looking in the mirror and being like,
why am I
why
doing
are
that?
you what? Like, what is your shit?
Yeah, and it never feels good in the system to judge in that way. Like every time I do it, I'm like, ew, why did I do that? But you can't figure out how to change it until you figure out why it's happening. So as much as it was a hard, it always like comes out as a learning lesson, or at least something I can be more aware of. Like it, maybe it's still gonna happen, but maybe it can happen inside my brain instead of outside my mouth. You know, baby steps.
A little at a time, yeah. Yeah, it's both things are just holy fuck in the head. When you have to deal and do a lot of healing and do a lot of work, you're sometimes just like, really, like what now, this time, why, like why, fucking why? But the human brain itself is just a fascinating thing. It knows survival, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like it knows. We add the judgment, the ego, the id, the whatever, the self. We add the judgment. We add the things, but like at the base level, the brain knows survival. That's why it shuts parts of the fucking body down to survive longer itself. It tries to keep you as a whole alive as long as it can. It learns, it takes in information. It's why we have to do the work to not process through the same lens that we got hurt in.
Yeah, I think there's always like something deeper with most
Always. The
emotions.
first reaction is almost, I would argue and can almost stand and die on this hill. I'm a stand on it. I don't know if I want to die on it. The reaction is never the thing.
And it's always like, I think how it, for me, it's always how it lands in my system. Like that initial reaction, if I'm like, ew, that was kind of gross, then I'm like, okay, that's not actually what's going on. Versus like, if my first reaction is being sad, let's say, and it doesn't land of like, why is this happening? Then like, that's probably actually more accurate versus like, why the fuck did I just do what I did? But my joy happened today. It's like twofold. I have a giant dog, in case you didn't know. You should know. She's in every walking video I post always. But one of my favorite things, and this is like a reoccurring joy, is watching Ethan and Nola hang out. We were on a walk today, and there's snow on the ground, and if there's one thing you should know about my dog, she fucks with the snow. She's a winter dog to her core, like minus 30, send her outside, she's living life. But we were on a walk and we were like on a path that had a fence on either side ish. So I let her off for a little bit, and anytime I let her off and you two like run around together and wrestle and play, it always brings me joy. Mostly because you're not an animal person, but also just like, even though you're not an animal person, you still bond with my dog. And like my dog loves Ethan. Probably her favorite person. Which is always funny to me because I'm like, of course, he's your favorite person. But just watching them interact is always fun for somebody who's not an animal person, and then mid play there was like a dog coming the other way, and Ethan didn't see it, and they were literally mid play, and I recalled Nola, and she just like stopped and turned and ran back to me. And like, dogs are supposed to listen. Let me make one thing very clear: if you have an adult dog and you still have to give it a treat every time it listens to you, you didn't actually train your dog. Be mad at me if you want. But like, I'm sorry.
I'm proud, but now I'm like, whoa, hi, I'm catching up.
It's also like, not to toot my own horn, but like, I'm good at training dogs.
Toot it. Like, and there's a reason I say toot it if you didn't catch it on TikTok, because I am not an animal person. Okay, like, I'm sorry, I'm not. I have my experiences in my life. Cool. But if not for the way Jill trained this dog, there's no fucking way. And I've proven that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm just respectful. I don't go to people's houses when I see their dogs on their Snapchat like jumping up on their stuff, because I don't like dog hair in my mouth, and that will bother me. So I love you guys, but I love you from over here. So like
also, your dogs are fucking nasty.
I don't know. Y'all. Oh my god. Okay. No. That dog is trained. It's over there. You've seen it twice in 15 episodes. Because she's a log most of the time. She chills. She listens. She really listens to me. Because I listened to the commands early on and was like, oh, simple. Form. And she does cool tricks.
She does do cool tricks.
But like, still has to go along to get along. Don't disturb my peace where I live. Where I, you know, where I, because you off the deck.
It was just like one of those moments where I was like, oh,
the dog's
fun.
trained, okay, really well.
I was like, oh, fun, they're playing together. And then I recalled my dog, and I was like, oh my god.
Even it was like, I had my headphones in, but I heard the recall, and even I was like, huh?
And then Nola was gone.
And like, Nola turned and left, so it made me look up, and I was like, oh. Nola, she went.
And like, if you have a dog, you know how hard it is to get them to listen when they're actively doing something. So I was just like wildly impressed. And then bonus points for Stink, because then she didn't ruin the play because Ethan didn't have to yell at her. So I was like, look, complete play.
Yeah, because like the other side of not listening to the recall is then dad voice for animals comes out, which sounds like demonic death. So we don't do it, but that voice works also.
Yeah.
Just nobody likes it. Me either.
Nola, come here.
Nola.
She's dead.
No, she's not.
Come make a cameo.
She's like,
Stink, come here.
She's like, no.
She's like, you told me to lay down. Nola, come here.
Excuse me. Come here. Yeah, you.
Bribe to go on YouTube. This is Nola. She's the giantest dog.
Huge.
She's happy to be here.
She's not. She's not.
She's like, help me, please.
You can step over. You gonna lay down here?
Good girl. Go lay down.
Lay down right here. Can you lay down? Hey.
Success.
There we go. Nicely done.
What's your joy?
That was funny.
Also, like, if you want your dog trained and you're local, I'll help you.
Fucking fair. Like, solid side hustle.
I've trained... She was my 9th foster dog, so, like, I've trained a lot of dogs.
Jill actually is a dog person. Like, a good one. There's an alive dog in my home.
So if you would like your dog to stay alive, too...
And not have to yell at everything, including it. It's been kind of a heavy week. It sucks. Yeah. Part of the hard is when my brain does the flashback thing, my short-term memory's kind of tough for a bit. Think of it like your computer overloading. Like it takes a bit to reset. It's got to make sure the files are in the right place. It's got to go through and make sure the program's okay. That's what CPTSD episodes are like for me. I'm sure there was lots of it, and joy is always time with my kids fun. She had a good, we had a good weekend this weekend. She did lots of baking, lots of wrestling, lots of baking. Yeah, another decent week at the gym. I slacked on yoga though, so maybe I'll find anybody want to be a yoga accountability buddy? Oh, I need like a start a group. I'm just gonna see how many people we can get to do yoga. Just for me, it's just been I've been lazy with it. I haven't got up in the morning. Sleep's been weird. But I also know that it's just I'm leading on an excuse. So gym was good. Been feeling good pushing there again. Uh, Handstands are getting better. That's always fun. Having a new direction with content. Working with Jill here. Pushing for some shifts in my own career, but also like creating more content on my end has been a little bit more fun. Yeah, just miniature joys throughout navigating stupidly heavy shit.
All you can do is find the little things sometimes.
Or a giant black dog.
Or come hang out with Stink. Stink, what's your joy?
First of all, stop including me.
All right, we got a question, and it's mostly, well, it was directed towards Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
The question was, what made you want to be open and an advocate for men's mental health? Thank you for talking about the shit no one else will. All the love to you.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that question. Oh, think back. What made me want to do it? Straight up, honest answer. I didn't. I didn't. If you like, most people that are joining this or whoever asked this probably hasn't been following my shit for very long. But early on, like I wanted to die when I started this mission. When I fell into this mission, when I was called to it, whatever the fuck, I I had a plan to die. I was done being a useless thing on this planet. I was a dad without knowing how to be a father, a boyfriend without knowing how to be a partner, um, and just failing fucking everywhere. And yeah, was just over failing. I was in therapy, even still, and it was just like it just the first goings of therapy were just reminders that I was too far gone. That there was just no way. Um, but hey,
We've got till 40.
well, yeah.
It's not well. I already bargained that.
You get really, really defensive about
I
that. Yeah, yeah. When I started this, when I fell into this mission in 2018, um, it's still in a dark place. Still, in therapy and talking and working with Jay, my therapist, still do. Um, but like up until that point, Jay had been getting every bit of contempt and hatred and just rudeness that I could find for a human being, especially in a supportive role. Because I'd already been in therapy. I've been in court mandated therapy. I've been in church mandated therapy. I've been in the system mandated therapy for the shit that I went through as a human, child, whatever, baby, whatever. There's a lot of it. But it was always like I knew in those sessions, like these people were just being paid to tell me I was fucked up. Nobody wanted to hear what was actually wrong with me. Nobody cared. They just read from a book and then judged me on it and told me to go work on it myself, uh, which is fucking cool. Except for when you're 15 and have been dating a parent for 10, 12 out of the last 15 years of your life. Not nearly as simple as that. So I didn't really give this man a chance, and he had to work really fucking hard. And to Jay's credit, Jesus Christ, man, I thank him for it, and I love that man deeply, because he never quit, and he still hasn't. And it wasn't that I wanted to do this. Sitting there hating my life, sitting there knowing that I wanted to die, writing out a plan and everything in me started to shake, but not like an anxiety shake, like a tremor. It startled me at first, but everything, it sounded like a speaker was in the room, and it just said, write something. And I didn't know what that meant, and I don't know what to do. I'm just going to follow on that, and grabbed a pen and started writing, and wrote a piece of my story out. Um, I can never remember what the first one was. I'm pretty sure it was Identity. Could have been another one. Um, but it was just me word vomiting onto a piece of paper, a piece of my story, a piece of why I am the way I am, why maybe it was why this happened in a way, why I was leaving, why, whatever the fuck. Uh, and I sat on that, for a day or two as I, made my plan. I knew I picked a day. I picked later in the week to unalive myself. And yeah, the same day that I had made the plan, I turned my phone off and then started shaking it. It was annoying as shit. But this time I said, you have to post that. I'll reason with you. If you share that and someone sees it and they stay here, you can then die. That's fair. That's balance. That's universe work. That's one for one. I think that's easy. Then, okay, cool. I made it make sense to myself. Cool. I can share it. Someone stays. I can go. Yeah. Shared it. Turned my phone off again. Turned my phone on to say goodbye to the few people that I had planned. And was met with comments, messages, phone calls that I missed, emails from people mostly apologizing that they didn't know, but from a select few that encouraged me to share again and to share more. And for the longest time, it was just that simple agreement. Like, okay, if I share though, like I get to go. Whenever I choose, I just get to go. Hey, still here. So to answer your question in the most long-winded way I possibly could, like I didn't want to do this, and I tried really heavily not to. I've tried heavily not to a few times. Why I do it, why I got behind my own mission was a big thanks to Jesse Lipscomb. Big shout out to Jesse. I need to get you on this podcast, my guy.
Yeah, where are you?
He's in Vancouver. He's got like 16 fucking shows left.
He's
He's in
busy
a
man.
musical right now, actually,
He's
in
busy
Vancouver. If you're
man.
going, I don't know what the musical's called off the top of my head. If you're in Vancouver, you should check it out. Check him out. Check the whole gang out. It's a riot. They're so talented. Jesse's fucking. Anyways, it was a big part of Jesse seeing me in this place and pushing me to keep sharing. I worked for him at youve Fitness, and through that connection, Jesse kind of stayed in my life. This was 2016, 2017 when I started working for him, and then this mission kind of fell into my lap. And Jesse, being who he is, saw something in me and decided that I was worth time and effort and energy to kind of take under his wing. And yeah, it became less about staying alive and more about just making sure other people knew they weren't alone, making sure someone heard the story. For the longest time, and still to this day, I believe that it's one I win. I just need to reach one person. If I kept the score 1-1, it was always okay. If one person keeps fighting another day with me, that's worth fighting another day for. I do it for me now, of course. I do all of my own healing, but I still share so that someone knows, so that someone sees. I've taken a lot of fucking hard lessons in this life. Outside of huge 72 font capital T drama on multiple levels, but just lots on the chin. Lots of stupid decisions, lots of mistakes, lots of things that were far the fuck out of my control. And I choose to share still today because you have a story. Someone else has a story. Someone else thinks their story isn't worth it. Someone thinks they're not worth it. Someone thinks they're not valid. Someone believes some bullshit someone made them believe about themselves. I know the dark places of this world better than most.
Jesse's musical is over already, but congratulations on your musical, Jesse. It was called Reflections on Crooked Walking, but it ends
No.
December 22nd. But you can't go see it because it's over by the time this episode comes out. But it was called... Oh, God. I lost it. Where'd it go? Reflections on Crooked Walking.
Yeah.
Good work, Jesse.
Yeah, Jess. Proud of you, man, as always.
I think it's interesting to hear you tell that story, too, of, like, I always timeline me in your stories.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's always interesting to hear, and I think sometimes it is that simple, even though it's never that simple, of like somebody needs to hear what you have to say, whether you believe it or not.
Like when we ask you guys for your stories, your opinions, it's not because like I want to feel seen and validated in that way. Like it's because I want you guys to see how many of you there are. I want you guys to know that you always have a community. There's always somebody that gets it. Yeah. It's not just me. Like I get, like I said, way too many of the dark places. But that's my calling. That's where I'm supposed to be. But you bump shoulders, rub elbows. I think that's what it is. White people help me out with lots of people with similar stories to you. They've at least crossed your path. That's what that means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we've crossed paths before. It's not like a physical thing. It's an emotional place. It's a soul place. Like it's how I say meet people in suffering. You don't have to know child abuse to know suffering. You know what it's like to not have autonomy over your body. Most of us do in some way, shape, or form, unless you're a cis white male. And if you are, fuck you. I mean, I like you. I have lots of friends that are white. They're great. They don't really like white men either. What? If they're over 50, like, fuck them.
No, I got no comment on the fact that, no, I'm not even going down that rabbit hole.
We touched a nerve.
No. What a life it must be to not know that feeling.
Yeah, anyways. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know. I get the button now. don't know, because that's a big button over here. Yep. We're going to not. But there you go. To that point, like, I kind of want to shift to that point because it's in that moment, like, that's how I know Jill sees me. That's how I know Jill's safe. Is how I know Jill, I can trust Jill with my heavy parts. Even though, like, she can barely fucking hold me standing up.
I really try sometimes. Sometimes Ethan really flops, and that's how I know.
Okay. Is it this the time that people learn that I don't have legs when I'm in trouble?
When he comes and just like, it's not even a rest on me, it's a flop. And I have to make sure my feet are properly. I gotta have a good base of support because I know he's gonna flop, and it like I love that he does it because it means he's coming to me for support. But every once in a while it catches me off guard, and I'm like, whoa, I wasn't actually ready for you to do that yet. But I haven't dropped him yet, so.
Yeah. And to again, that point is in that statement of, I'm not going to get into it because it's a button from both sides lets me know how safe Jill is to go through all versions of me when I'm in it. I may not have words when I'm already fighting a fight. It's easy to decipher in those moments because clearly I go and run towards the beacon for a moment to take some reprieve.
Yeah, I think it's always an honor to hold space for you and support you in those moments. But it's also something in the life we live that I've had to understand that not everybody can do it or wants to do it, I think is the more important part of that sentence.
Or people want to do it until they have to see it.
To do it.
Because like it's not, and this isn't glorifying trauma. This is real life. This This is life with big T trauma. This is life with fucking eating food and then being transported to a place that there's a dick in your mouth.
It's also,
like, you know what I mean? Like, this is real life experience that I have to live through, and I go through it the best of my fucking ability with all of the fucking therapies that I know, and it's still really hard sometimes. Like, Jill says it's not hard.
but I can't say it's hard,
like, it's
because
hard. It is fucking hard when it gets like, Jill's well equipped, and that's the difference. Is Jill quit once already.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, as much as I say now, like, it's not hard and it will never be my hard, because it isn't. Like, I think that is people who love me and support me's biggest concern most of the time is, isn't that hard for you? Which, like, makes me roll my eyes, and also is always no. But it was last time. That's why I left. That's why this didn't work. But I also came into it with the wrong intentions, and not, I'd done the work myself. I came into it with a common theme I had in my life of, like, I'm going to take this man and fix them. Anyone who knows some of my dating choices knows that it's always been a project of, like, more potential than the person standing in front of me, and that never works. Spoiler. In case you don't want to learn the lesson I learned multiple times, it's not going to work. But that's also
multiple times. Okay, so she didn't learn the lesson.
I was like, maybe the next one I can fix.
As it turns out, the lesson was learned as a hybrid break of blocking and fucking off.
Yeah, but, like, when I came back this time, it was a very different mindset for me. We went to an event early on, and it was like a panel of questions, and a question came up about supporting somebody with trauma. And I was like, hand me that mic. I should have, if I was, maybe now I would be brave enough to be like, give me that. But in the moment, I was like, I could answer this question, but they didn't ask me to answer this question.
But now you get to.
Yeah, and the answer was wrong. Shocking. Most people who answer that question are wrong. Because they deflected back to the person with the trauma, which to an extent,
which is what I wound up countering with when I got to say the thing.
Like, to an extent, yes,
yeah,
but more so, no. Their answer was like, you can only, to Cole's note it, you can only help people who want to help themselves. Correct. However, if Ethan comes to me for support with whatever it may be that day, I can't just be like, here you go, figure it out yourself. Like, Ethan has to want to do the work. He could choose not to.
Yeah, what I'm asking, what we're asking, what healthy people are asking for support with is the current state we're in.
Not fix my trauma.
Not fix the thing that caused it. No. Is help support the current state I'm in. And that's why I have to do that work first. It's not fixing the problem. It's helping me regulate the state that I'm in so that I can do the work.
Yeah, but, like, without you doing the work of being able to figure that out, I can't help. Like, that's where the you can only help people who want to help themselves comes in, is there's a lot of times where I'm like, hey, we had this situation. I wasn't sure how to handle it, or maybe I didn't like the way I handled it, or whatever. And I can always come back to you and be like, next time, would this be helpful? And the only reason this works is because you always have an answer for me. Whenever I've been like, can we try this next time? Or can you give me, like, some sort of warning sign? Whatever. It's always like yeah, that would work, or no, but here's what would. If you're just sitting there and be like, I don't know, then I'm just going to spin my wheels being like, well, if you don't know, how am I supposed to know? So there is a level of, like, Ethan has to continue to do the work so that I can continue to navigate to support him. If he stops doing the work, I can't do my job anymore. But it's not my job to fix it. It's just my job to be like, tell me what you need and I will do it. And yeah, there's been a few people in our life that have claimed they wanted to support and then in the moment shit their pants and run away. And I'm like, well, this was like less than helpful because now I got to support over here and then support over there. You actually just made more work for me. So it's also knowing like what are you capable of and what are you willing to do and what do you have the tools to do.
Everybody. Sorry to love, because what you just said made a ton of sense. Because like everybody, of course, this isn't just a me thing. Everybody wants to support their people. I'm just a person with big T trauma in multiple areas of my life, and navigating that, it doesn't mean that I need you to support that part of me. Like you get to hold another piece of support. Like there's always something to support in your people. This is navigating life, being poly. This is navigating life as a human. You have friends. The hurt feelings of someone being more important comes from this idea that someone can do more. Like no, like I don't need you to be Jill.
I actually
have
hate.
One. I have one.
I also like despise when people walk in and they're like, well, I'll just watch you and do what you do. I'm like, please don't. Please don't. Like, you're not me. And also, like,
because you couldn't. Like, Jill can intercept Jamal.
It's a 50-50 every time, but I haven't.
It's not 50-50. It's 50-50 if Jamal throws a hissy fit. It's never 50-50 that she would get tossed to the side like someone else would. Because I've thrown my brother out of my way. I've thrown my best friend out of my way. I've fist fought my best Travis. If you listen to this, my guy, I miss you, my friend. You should grab a drink. I don't drink, but I'll smoke a joint. You can have a beer. But like Travis and me would fist fight once a year, like over intercepting one of us's trauma. It is don't do the thing. We did the thing. Like Jill, I have a Jill. I have someone that, without saying a ton of words, without trying to fix me, meets me sometimes head on. As little as she is, she gets to meet me head on. And that's something she chooses to do with me, for me, because of me. Whatever it is, it's something that she can do and takes on her own. I don't need another one. I have people that support me in beautiful ways on their own. And they're all fucking equally important because each of them doing that means it doesn't fall anywhere else. That nobody catches strays. In the same way that I get to support people, I get to bring my experience to that person and they get to choose how I support them in it. I never have to give more than that. I never choose to give less. It's the beauty of being a human on this earth when you figure it out.
Yeah, and if you're trying to do a version of support that isn't actually you're just going to run yourself into the ground.
You're going to be exhausted. Everyone's cup gets empty, sure. Like mine too. When I have to support and I have to hear it, eventually it wears on me, sure. But there's no holes in my cup. I will say it that way. My cup also gets filled while it does the drain thing.
Yeah.
It may be tipped to the side because I'm here working with Jill on some shit and she's pouring into me and I'm pouring into her. We're doing a great time, but then I've got attention over here because someone's dad just died and I'm having to support that, even though I don't want anything to do with dads. But I got to go there. So my cup's kind of empty, but Jill's here pouring into me. Other people are pouring in. I still get to pour out. Like it becomes less draining when you realize the pour is continuous.
It's also like, bluntly, you don't have to do it. And I think that is a piece that
bluntly, because I'm fucking over.
frustrates me being a person who supports Ethan as I watch people walk in and say they want to and then don't. You can just skip the part where you say you want to and then we don't have to run into this problem. And I think everyone thinks that makes them a bad person or they don't have a spot here, whatever it may be if they can't do it. But like, you don't have to. If you don't have the tools, you don't have the ability, you don't have the want, you don't have the mental stability or emotional availability to do it, then don't. Because you faking that you want to and faking that you can is just going to cause problems for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
When you could just be like, you know what? This is heavier than I have the tools for.
Yeah. That'll never offend me.
I hope you find the support you need.
If you're talking
I'm
to a
going
healed
this way.
person, like you're never done healing, blah blah blah, but like if you've done, like when someone's done some of the work, like that sentence is disarming. Like I share freely. Like, yeah, no, pivot. Tell me what you don't want to hear about my story. If you don't, I'll just share freely because I do it naturally. I'm not
Yeah.
oversharing. I just talk. My lived experience hasn't always been. It really has not been the greatest. I'm working on making them good every day. So when we're talking, you asked me how my day was. Well, I probably survived 3 flashbacks that day already. You know what I mean? Like at some point, I didn't. I've had a great day or I've had a great moment, and then it was flooded with terror or a smell that I didn't want to have. A lot of the work that I do, most of the work I do is out in the view for everyone to see. But yeah, what is it like to walk through life now, or even this time compared to last time in a supportive role with someone navigating PTSD, but also sharing in work the way we do?
Uh, yeah, I think it all kind of looped together for me. A big piece for myself was letting go of the idea that I had to present a certain way to run a successful business. I've never presented corporate covered in tattoos. My hair was blue. Um, but I still very much thought I had to have a certain appearance on social media for people to take me seriously or whatever it may be. I'm a female trying to run a business. Society has made me think you have to look, behave, perform a certain way to be successful. So letting go of that, as like I did lean into wanting to dye my hair, as little as that might sound, having visible tattoos. Like there's a lot of people that choose to keep their tattoos within close.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the day I tattooed the back of my hand, I was like, well, there's no turning back now because I'm not covering this ever.
That was
Um,
Nola getting comfortable and running into the fucking table with her head.
this is why she lays over there.
But that was funny because it was so aggressive.
So I think a big piece was like getting more comfortable with myself and how
Mm-hmm.
I present on social media. Um, as much as the internet almost made me quit once upon a time, it was also a chance to learn that like people are going to judge what you're posting.
Mm-hmm.
I post nothing. Well, there's probably a few things people can judge now. I used to post nothing that was judge or hate worthy. Like my content was literally like, here's health and fitness tips and recipes, and people still ripped my fucking head off. So when that started to happen, I'm like, oh, it doesn't actually matter. People are gonna rip my head off for anything. Um, if you're watching the video, Nola just adjusted and moved the table. Stink. Stay still. Yeah, so I think a big piece is getting more comfortable in myself, was understanding that like it doesn't actually matter. Um, once upon a time, I hope you heard the ear flops in the mic. Um, it was fairly early in the summer, I think, spring. Ethan ended up on youve.
Is the Yeah, it was
Uh,
the spring. It would have been the spring because it was still kind of chilly.
yeah, Cole's notes. There is a Palestine rally happening downtown. We were downtown for a photo shoot. There was a white man following them, yelling
Death
many,
threats.
many threats. And the people doing like security for the protest were trying their best, but they also had other shit to do. And as soon as I heard the man yelling, I was like, well. And there's a picture from the photo shoot of like all of us standing there watching the rally. And then there's the moment me and Ethan clocked this man. And like the other girls that were there are still watching the rally happen. One of the photographers was further back. He also clocked. It was
Damien.
anyone that like has had something happen was like, hold on. They caught the noise right away. And there's a picture of Ethan looking to the left, and it might be the meanest you look in a picture. I'll see if I can find it. We got the picture.
You gotta find it. We'll post it.
We
I don't
got the
know what it
pictures.
looks like, but I believe you.
We got the pictures back, and I went, oh.
If you want to know what Jamal looks like, that might be the one. Actually, now that I say it, because I know the face I make because it's when the protector comes out in me. So when I'm like, oh, this is gonna hurt, but everyone's gonna remember it.
Yeah.
Like that's all of my face goes like, this is about to be loud.
It's like a very accurate representation of me and you, I think, also, because I'm like tucked behind you, which I usually am, but you can see me like looking over his shoulder, which is a very accurate representation
How bad is
of
this
the
going
two
to
of
be?
us. Is like Ethan, yeah, I'm usually tucked behind him. Yeah, the video of Ethan dealing with the man ended up on youve. People were sending it to me and they're like, isn't this embarrassing? I was like, no. What is there to be embarrassed about?
The
Like,
what video is me and this man having a shouting match, but I'm also modeling, so I have
he's in
fucking coveralls
coveralls with
on.
no shirt.
So I'm like, I'm a there. If he does fight, I'm not losing a shoulder because it gets stuck in this fucking thing. So I take the shoulders off, and I was wearing like a necklace or some shit. So I'm like, I'm not. This is not my first fucking rodeo. You don't give him like, listen. We can do a whole other episode on self defense. I just got ready for a fucking fight.
Yeah. So
And
there's
then that. But I mean, like this man's yelling like death threats, like spitting in my face, which is, if you don't know me, might be the number one way to get me to kill you. But I'm also very aware of my surroundings, and there's like 55 phones out. But just also know that the moment you touch me, dog, with this many phones out, it's gonna be. I haven't beat the brakes off somebody in a minute, and I have some trauma to exercise today.
I took like a step back as like I'm gonna watch this unfold. And one of the photographers was like, aren't you gonna get Ethan? And I said, I'm absolutely not going to do that.
It wound up being me and Damien. Damien is in. I love Damien. Shout out to In Digital Media. Love Damien as a photographer, as a being, but solidified why I love them, because he stood shoulder to shoulder with me and was like, and I knew if it jumped, Damien was. I was going to see a beside a Damien I'd never seen before, but I was so fucking excited to see it.
And in the picture, that's exactly it. Is like,
and Damien's massive. Damien's like 6'4".
It's like Ethan, me, him in the background, and it's just the way you two are looking, and then I'm like, oh fuck.
Like at one point, I turned to security and said, "Just go. Like we got it. It's fine. Do your thing." But like you're screaming death threats, and you're apparently the day before had ripped a hijab off of a woman, like already has been violent. I'm like, nobody wants to do anything, and I'm the problem because I stood up to the motherfucker.
Yeah, and it was just like,
cool. Y'all are cowards. Every single one of you, by the way, you motherfuckers sitting on there. Isn't it embarrassing, isn't it? Why would you say something? Because you bitches didn't. Because you motherfuckers just watch. Because you're fucking pieces of shit like that. You're a bystander. You don't want to get... No, fuck you for not. Absolutely fuck you that I, as a black male and an indigenous male, had to do that at all. You fucking hypocrite piece of shit. So you want to post on social media being all supportive until it comes down to it, asking why is that not embarrassing for you? Because I stood on business. I stood on morals and protecting people. Are you fucking kidding me? You dumb cunts. Fuck every last one of you.
Yeah, and it like things like that will never be embarrassing to me. Like I gave that very small white man a decision to make. And if I think you're small, that's saying something. I'm 5'4". But Ethan turned down the alley, and I knew exactly why he chose to walk down the alley. And the man went to follow him, and I stepped in front of him, and I was like, you're not going to follow him down that alley.
Sometimes you just got to let them trip themselves up.
But it's also like that's part of supporting Ethan is doing the math while he does the math. Like as soon as he stepped down that alley, I was like, nope. And I like stepped in front of this man, and I was like, you're not going to follow him down that alley. And I also was like, I'm also giving you a life decision right now, my guy, because if you touch me, you're going to have a bigger problem. And he like took a step towards me and then turned and walked away. And I was like, correct life choice. I also like that is the protection side of Ethan of like, I'm going to help this man make the correct decision for a second here because I will use my white for good. Always, I used my white for good that day.
Later, we had another run-in with a motherfucker.
And then I ran across Jasper Ave to the cops. I literally looked at Ethan and said, I'm going to go be white. And then jaywalked across Jasper Ave to go talk to the cops because they wouldn't listen to anyone that wasn't white. Shocking.
Because he still followed them. He caught up to the parade and was still yelling and screaming death threats. People on the sidewalk were trying to get in his way. And the cops are just letting him do it. What are we supposed to do? I'm like, if I say I'm going to cut your fucking head off, Mr. Officer, I get arrested for uttering death threats, you fuck. Like, this is in public. on Jasper Ave, this conversation is happening.
But same, like, as Ethan's doing the math of, like, do I need to step in and stop him? I was like, hold on. I, like, ran across the street.
Because now he's getting in everybody else's face on the sidewalk, too. Not just the parade. Now he just wants to fight somebody.
Yeah, so I ran across the street, talked to the cops. And the second I walked up, they were male. Also not shocking. And there was a not white male trying to talk to him. They weren't paying attention to him. I walk up, they're like, yes, ma'am, what do you need? And I was like, oh, no, I'm with them. Like, you think I'm on your side. I'm not. Talk to them. They still wouldn't do anything. And when I went to go back across Jasper Ave, there was cars coming. And they were like, please don't get hit by a car. And I, like, looked over my shoulder. I was like, because then you'd have to do your job. And then kept running across the street. Because I'm white. So if you're not going to use your white for good, what purpose do you have? But that's also a piece of supporting is like, I will always make those decisions to step in and do the talking and try to get things handled because I'm well aware the color of my skin dictates how people treat me. So I might as well use it to help the people that don't get that privilege. So yeah, to like answer the 1,000,001 DMs I got, and I answered all of them, was like, no, that's not, why would I be embarrassed by that? He chose to stick up for people that never have anyone stick up for them. He chose to get involved in a way he knew he could. That was low risk for you in a situation like that. And I feel very similar about supporting you in your mental health. Like, it's not high risk for me. The biggest risk I take is when Jamal's out and I'm like, do I want to step in front of Ethan or do I want to let him go upstairs? And like, sometimes I let him go upstairs, sometimes I don't. Depends on the situation. But like, I always circle back, and it's coming into it with like a clear headspace. It's doing the work to remind myself that if you're angry, it's very rarely at me, almost never at me. Yeah. But without like having those check boxes for myself, I wouldn't be able to do it. And without having people on the other end that support me, I wouldn't be able to do it. And I think having people that understand, whether they don't need to be involved, they don't need to understand to a point of like, oh, I'll help you support Ethan. It's just understanding to a point of like, okay, now what do you need? Mm-hmm. Is a big piece.
Shout out to Ashlyn.
Yeah.
Ashlyn!
Yeah, like, I don't need the people that support me to understand every detail of Ethan's trauma and why it happens and how it happens, blah, blah, blah. I just need you to make sure I'm good. And yeah, I think it's also like taking...
And that's also like, sorry, to add to that, is like, there was also a discussion of like, who do you tell this stuff to? And not from like a, you can't share this shit, like, I hope you have like 2 or 3 people that you can talk open and honestly about what you're going through with navigating this. Because share what you need to share. It is my story, but it's equally yours now. So whatever you feel safe in sharing, like, that was always the green light for me. Because that's a part of your support network, not getting the support they need to be able to do it, is that you don't give them the green light to share the things. Because it is, in effect, now a part of their story. You are in their life. So now they're in your stories.
And I don't have to tell people every detail.
No. And I know she doesn't, but she can say what she has to. She doesn't have to go, oh, Ethan would be upset, but no, say what you have to convey where you are so they can support you the way you need. That's always okay.
Yeah. And if nothing else, it's giving me a space to say my shit. Ethan offers me a ton of support at the same time. But it's just like also having a place, having multiple places to get your support from. If you're having a day, I can talk to Ashlyn. It was a big piece of losing Nicola that sucked for me, was part of my support, but it's also knowing that like there will be more people that support me in this life. And like,
shout out Harley.
In the meantime, Ashlyn, you're going to hear more of my rants. And like, I will continue to find people, but it's just...
Ashlyn's over here like, fucking find a friend already.
Finally had somebody, and they're gone. Yeah. So, that was a big piece. I was like, oh shit, I just lost like a big chunk of my support. But
also, I'm just going to shout out
people.
Ashlyn, even though this is 2 weeks late. She crushed her partner's birthday. Was it birthday or was it Christmas? Birthday. Crushed it the other day. Yesterday, I got a snap where I never get snaps from Ashlyn. Always love to get snaps from Ashlyn. They were clean, fuck off. But like showing me the gifts that she got, nailed the. I was so proud. Like for no reason other than that, someone that just crushed. You're about to see a child walk into your home, and then on Instagram later, there's a 5-year-old Shayla doing chin-ups. Like just you can see
the video killed me. It's like, what else can you do? This?
Yeah, like that showed out crushing someone's gift. Like it, those moments I love seeing in people. I love getting to share in those when people share those moments because like that's why we share our joys when we try to share those moments because it's just fucking amazing to share in that space with people.
Yeah,
that kind of energy.
Yeah. So yeah, if I can give advice to anybody who's supporting somebody with heavy trauma, it's all heavy, whatever level of trauma or mental health or whatever, like Ethan has to support me through my anxious moments and my social anxiety and my brain being mean. Like we all have our things, but if you don't have the tools you need to be able to walk into that confidently, I think that's a big piece is like people who are already going through it don't need you sitting there being unsure about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. There is a lot of this that's out of control for a lot of people. There's a lot you're not going to know, but you should know something.
Yeah, like I think a big piece of it is like I see the uncertainty, the uneasy, the like unsettled in you when you're going through it. The last thing I need is to be like, I'm going to bring the same emotions into this.
Yeah, I like the way the second way you said that makes a little bit more sense, a little bit less umphy. Because it is, I think I said it yesterday, and I say it randomly when I update, just like in a moment of being grateful for Jill and who she is and chooses to be in my life, of being the soft place to fall. And I don't really say land, and that because I don't. Like I don't care where I land. I always get up. I'll get back up and I'll do the thing. But like, I don't get to fall in the rest of my life. Like there's a when it gets on me, I can see it. When it gets on me, it can be really loud. It can be really big. There's a lot behind it. And so I've been taught my whole life to stuff those down, even though people know me to be angry. Like I angry because I lash out. This is different. This is an episode. And so in those moments, like Jill is the place that I run to when I know it's about to get shitty. When I know that I need the reminder that there's a place for me to go. I'm okay to unravel here. This is about to hurt me. Am I okay to be hurt here? I'm gonna cry because I can feel hot tears because it's hard. That one's tough. When you don't have a space to fall, when you don't have a space to unravel, when you don't have a space to freely express what you've been holding in. Anger being a big one of those.
I'm good. Sometimes watching you cry makes me cry.
I think that's the desired effect. I think that's what makes this real for people. But just it's a lot to be able to freely do the work. And so in order to support someone that needs free space to do the work, you've had to have done some for yourself. If you want to go in supporting someone, this is not let's hunt for landmines together. Jill and I navigate the explosion together. We try to actively avoid the landmines. Where are we always successful? No.
Yeah, and I think that's when we always come back to like, okay, next time. Here's an adjustment.
We learn together
to our game plan.
It's never a loss. It's never this is over. Like, even though that's a fear from both sides of our lived experience, like, it's always okay, we learned. What did you learn? I learned I can't do this thing. What did you learn? Like, I learned that I need this from you, but I can give you this in this moment. And, like, it's always together.
Yeah. And I think if you're not sure, ask and talk. You don't know anybody else is dealing with it until you choose to say something about it, whether no matter how scary that feels. Talk about it. Ask for help. Talk to your people. Talk to us on either side. Like if you're struggling to support somebody or want to know how to better support somebody, or you're struggling to talk about it, um, we can help on both sides, and we would love to have that conversation.
Yeah, email us, reach out through DMs. We'd love to have a conversation on what it's like to have a chat with us. And Jill and I have launched our coaching and our Sit With Us program, just a way to kind of get a cheaper version of coaching from us, a way to access this version of our knowledge, to sit over coffee in half-hour windows, whether it's virtually or in person, to navigate these spaces with you, to have a place for you to go with it that way.
Yeah,
we can be much more personal and hands-on with it.
Yeah, we want to be able to offer more like tailored advice. Like when we speak on the podcast, it has to be general because we don't know what you're going through. But if you let us know what you're going through, we're happy to get more specific with it. And that's the intent with the coffee and the space to sit and chat, is you can unload on us and we can help you work through it. So if that's something you're in need of, please send us a DM. Be like, hey, do you have space to chat? We would love to hear from you. You can find us at Shifting Lens Podcast on everything, always. If you're more comfortable, you're going to get either of us on the podcast page. But if you want to be confident who receives your DM, you can DM us separately as well. You can find me at CoachJill.April.
You can find me at Fight Me on This. You can follow my model page. It's up and running finally. Not just the spicy stuff. Yes, of course, that'll be there. But also just like my navigating through my mental health journey to becoming a model, to the work that I get to do now, why I choose to do this work, and just see some of the looks that I've got to wear, and some of the work that I've created over the last couple of years of this new found passion, career, whatever. I don't know. It's a lot of fucking fun. I really love being a model. So I have so much fun.
Yeah.
Sir Lifts. You can find that. We share it randomly. But anyway,
it's also in his bio.
Thank you for those of you that have subscribed already. Thank you for hosting our Green Flakes chat with us. That was a fun conversation to hold. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Yeah. Anything from you, love?
Nope.
Cool. Nolan, anything from you? Oh, you're dead? Cool.
Crickets.
All right.
We'll catch you next time.
Love you guys.